Well, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Tom Schlueter with today's Tom's Take. I guess I just fibbed. It's really Monday evening, but I'm going to do this Monday evening for tomorrow morning because I just spent a whole day down at Austin in our state capital, and I just returned home from a 3-hour trip. And I thought I want to sleep a little bit later tomorrow morning, so I'm going to do this now. So thank you for letting me do this on Monday night. But you're going to be hearing this on Tuesday morning. So again, good morning. First thing I want to do is I want to invite you, if you haven't already, on the same channel that you listen to and watch Tom's Take, Dr. Tom Schlueter, my YouTube channel, I would invite you to go to the playlist called Kingdom Gate and listen to our Sunday worship service from this past Sunday. You can do the worship part and all of that, or if you'd like to, you can just go to the message, fast forward to the message. Our good friend Patty Amsden brought the word Sunday. I just want you to listen to that because it is a marvelous and powerful revelation that she gives about how the cloud of witnesses is tied together with us in this season. Let me try to simplify what she said in just a few phrases. The very things that have been done in the past by those that preceded us, all the way back to the beginning of time, all those things are like threads that have gone through all the generations. And those threads, when another generation comes along, they get to pick up where those people left off. And as they do that, the very nature and design of what was being released back then, as it has increased now in intensity and purpose towards the glorification of all things, makes us co-laborers with those who are in the heavenly courts, co-laborers with the cloud of witnesses. It was a powerful, powerful message. Now, near the end of the message, and I don't normally do this, but I want you to hear something, because at the end of the message, as she was referring to all of us, as we are a part of a thread network that goes from the past into the present and will take us into the future until we have finished our portion of this and it is passed on to the next generation. As she got to the end of that message, she gave me a personal word. She said, Tom, you have an ancestry spiritually that goes back to Nehemiah and beyond that. And the reason that the Lord sent you to look at all the gates, He sent you around this whole perimeter of this state. And that's the first thing He asked us to do, was to drive the circumference of the state. Like Nehemiah walked around, to look at all the gates and to see where they had been burned with fire. Where there was no gate contender, there was no one to tend. And Nehemiah left his ordinary work, what he had thought he had been assigned to. He left that to go survey the damage. You left and were sent to survey the damage. And even as you surveyed the damage, then the next thing that came into your life is to pick up a sword. And so there has been up to this point a tending of gates for kingdom purposes. That's in part why your new name, Kingdom Gate, is here. A kingdom of tending those purposes with the sword in the hand. But the Lord is going to add to you, on the other hand, the building tool. And there is coming even alignment with others whose threads have to be now woven together in your day right now. He gave you threads to weave with you, and as the days went by. But there's going to be some new threads added to you because the next day of the Nehemiah project, so to speak, the Nehemiah assignment, is the building of those gates. It's one thing to fight the enemies that try to get in your gates. It's another thing to build the gate. It's another thing to build the gate. This is the day of gate building upon this household. She's speaking of Kingdom Gate. Therefore, it's upon this household too. And there's going to be some threads connected. There's going to be some threads connected. Wow. Now, you need to understand that when she began to speak that, if you would listen to the tape, and you can do that if you listen to Sunday's message, I began to weep. She had no clue about what the Lord had been drawing me into for the last 30 years. For the book of Nehemiah has been like a stake in the ground regarding my ministry. Even for a whole year and a half, I called together what we called Nehemiah pastors. And I contacted pastors in the city over that year and a half, over 60 pastors, including the mayor, including the superintendent of schools. And every Thursday at noon, we would go into a different church. Sometimes there were 3 of us, sometimes there were 20 of us. And we would go in and pray for them and build them up and strengthen them. They would always ask, well, what do you want us to do? What do we have to join? I said, nothing. We're here to bless you. We're here to speak life into you. We're here to encourage you. I can't tell you how many of those pastors were weeping as we prayed for them. Many of them said, we've never had anybody, even in our own congregation, pray for us, much less a pastor from another church or pastors from another church, from other churches. And then, of course, the whole thing about driving the circumference of the state. Not to mention that my second book that I published, which is titled after the meaning of my name, Schleter, Keeper of the Keys, is based on the very book of Nehemiah. I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. Because Patty nailed me down. And she began to release a truth into me that the Lord had released, again, like I said, for the last 30, maybe even 40 years. And brought many things to conclusion in me. Not conclusion like I'm at the end of the race, but conclusion in the way of affirmation, so that we can now move on to the building portion of this. Yes, there was the inspecting of the gates. Yes, there were the picking up of the swords to protect the gates and to protect the walls and to make sure that intruders in the spirit were not allowed in or allowed into the state. But now it's time for building. I found it really amazing that the day after she gives me that word, and of course we've been doing this now for almost 10 years, that I went down and spent a whole day in a policy gathering with Intercessors for America. And we listened to many legislators, representatives, senators, and even our lieutenant governor giving policy statements and giving the very reason that they are in the work of ministry that they're doing is because of prayer and because of their strong, strong faith. And every single one of them I have worked with personally over the last, again, 8 to 10 years. And each one of them, at some point, either coming in or going out of the meeting, gave me a big embrace and a thank you for that which we accomplished in building them up. What an amazing day it was. Yes, I'm a little tired, and I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. But I'm going to get a good night's sleep because the power of the Lord and His presence completely surrounded me today, as He did our congregation Sunday. He wrapped Himself up around us. And even powerfully, a word that I gave during the service was, the Lord said, I'm even wrapping you around me. I'm wrapping you around me as you praise me and exalt me. That was my Tom's take for Monday. We are in a very good season and a good time. I can't encourage you any more than what I've already done. Please listen to Patty's message from Sunday. Many have already gone back to it and listened to it. It's a powerful word. And it's a word that includes all of us in every aspect of life that we're a part of. Because the threads that have come from the past, the saints of old, are now being woven into our lives and will be woven into the lives of those that follow us. And we will see the complete glorification, reformation, transformation of the world that we live in. Oh my goodness. I'm tired, so I'm going to let you go at that point. But please, know that God has woven you into his tapestry. And there are many that are a part of what you are doing as well, that he will bring into your life in the coming days, weeks, and months. Now, blessings to all of y'all. I know it's morning when you're going to see this, so I won't say have a good night's rest, but I'm going to go have a good night's rest. Blessings to everybody. Bye-bye.